WSFA Television, Montgomery. From Alabama's News Center, this is the WSFA TV News 10 o'clock report.
Good evening. The so-called Marion Three, Albert Turner, Evelyn Turner, and Spencer Hogue Jr. will stand trial this month on voting fraud charges. Blacks in Selma say the three are being used also in protest of the Dallas County Commission's recent decision to appoint a white man to the vacant county tax collector's office. Jackie Walker, the first black to be elected to a Dallas County position, was Rajiv Gandhi, and the leader of Sri Lanka visited the destruction-torn villages today. And weekend accidents in Alabama so far this weekend. Those deaths include a Texas toddler who died in a crash on Interstate 65 last night about 4 miles north of Montgomery. State troopers say 2-year-old Cheryl Lynn Welch of Amarillo was killed and her parents injured in that accident. A Fort Rucker man died early today from injuries he received in an accident last night. He is ID'd as 27-year-old Eric Hershey. And 2 Bessemer men died last night after the car they were in collided with another vehicle and burst into flames in Jefferson County. Bob James is enjoying his life out of politics. Chris Grimshaw visits the former governor right after this. Here's the game of politics. Bob James is putting his recollections into words. Chris Grimshaw tonight continues his exclusive report on the former governor, how he views himself, his future, and politics.
I work and still trying to write that book, but I'm back to living normally, just like before.
How you doing, Governor?
Glad to see you. How you been?
Fine. Fine.
Bob James looks happy, owning and running the marina in Gulf Shores. The artist whose love of nature leads him to put brush to canvas, Bob James' lifelong love of history compels him to leave behind scenes of his life and times. Chris Grimshaw, WSFA TV News, Gulf Shores.
Some 60,000 people turned out in Mobile yesterday for festivities dedicating the Tennessee Tom Bigby Waterway.
The people of the entire world, God bless you. Thank you.
Since the springtime heat is making the urge to go to the lake instead of church a little harder to fight back, some people in Chilton County have found the perfect solution. Carrie Gordon reports.
A summer Sunday morning on Lake Mitchell is a quiet time. The sound of a wake beating against the shore, the early morning haze lifting off the water. A perfect place to go to church. They've been gathering at the river for 17 summers now, starting on Memorial Day Sunday and ending on Labor Day. For 15 services a year, the River Church is there for those who don't want to get dressed up for church.
And over the years, people have learned about this service, and they have found it to be a service that they enjoyed. It met their needs because they could come to church in the morning here and not have to go to the trouble and effort of getting dressed and going into town.
Reverend Parker calls this a typical Sunday, about a dozen boats and 80 people. Some of these people live on the river, others just like the church service.
I know for our church, a lot of people now use it as an early morning worship service. They can come to church early and be through for the day.
It's not as time consuming. It takes most of the day when you get ready and go out to town to church, and gives you more time to be on the lake with the service here.
If you can go to your home church, that's good too, but this does fulfill for the people that can't get to their home churches.
The service is sponsored by the First United Methodist Church of Clanton, but worship is non-denominational and informal. Just tie up your boat for the 30-minute service and feel free to come back again next Sunday. In Chilton County, Carrie Gordon, WSFA TV News.
Well, Mark, it was a beautiful day to be on the lake, but it was awful hot.
It was hot everywhere, and it's going to get even hotter, believe it or not, over the next couple of days. We'll tell you the grim, hot details when we come back.
Let Big B Discount Drugs get your pool on.
Huntsville all had records. And on top of that, there were about 18 other records across the southeast, as we have had a very, very hot day, and look for more records probably tomorrow and maybe even later on in the week as well. The southeastern satellite photograph shows that there are not many clouds in the state at this hour. Luckily, or rather unluckily, at this hour of the day, there's a cloud cover all over the state, as in most of the state, even at 10 o'clock this evening. These 70s now are going to edge down into Alabama, but not very far. We're expecting lows only in the mid-70s, mid to low 70s in central Alabama, 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. In Montgomery this morning was 73. Today's high, a record 98. Winds from the southwest at 3. Dew point 75. Humidity 82. The barometer rising. No rain, of course, at the airport. Lake levels on the screen for this morning at 6 a.m. Sunrise, continued showers, maybe. Lows in the 70s and highs in the 90s. Let's hope for rain.
Lots of maybes, but
Lots
positive
of
hot.
Positive hot, yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark. Well, after the Celtics dominated the Lakers in Game 1, it's been all downhill in 2 and 3.
Yeah, and they got to play a couple of more games on their West Coast, the NBA playoffs in game number 3 today. That story more when we come back.
Way up in the ice.
NBA championship series against last year's winner, the Boston Celtics. The Lakers win at home, 136 to 111. They lead 2 games to 1. As expected, it was a physical battle with 3 shoving matches.
The news will continue right after these messages. Stay with us. And before we leave tonight, let's take a look at some of the events that could be making news in the week ahead. The Alabama Peace Officers Association continues their annual conference tomorrow. Macon County Sheriff Lucius Amerson has a news conference tomorrow to talk about the drug problems in that county. The Public Service Commission meets Tuesday to discuss rate stabilization. President Reagan visits Birmingham Thursday on behalf of Jeremiah Denton. And Arthur Brimmer, the man who shot Governor Wallace, has his first parole hearing in Maryland on Thursday. That's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us. On behalf of Mark and Jim and all of us here at TV 12, have a great week ahead. Please join Terry Stanton at 7:25 in the morning.